What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex giving in happy Halloween. I wanted to put out some pumpkin games for Halloween to kind of fit the Halloweeny theme, and I was able to play some pumpkins on Saturday in the cover to cover charity tournament. So, wanted to take a look at two games from that. And first off, we are going to be taking a look at a Gwen game. Pretty good start too. We get to pick up a Cinderella and a Frog Prince. I'm going to jump ahead even because we are looking at two games here. We win that fight, pick up the Frog Prince, pick up a Magic Researcher, we did win that fight. So Peter Pan's was playing like a black cat or something. And then we throw Magic Research onto the Frog Prince. I'm not super inclined to Knighthood on the Frog Prince. I think that that's like a little bit more tempo than you even need, and we're doing fine here. Now we're playing a 6-9, which is nice, and a 2-5, as well as a ranged Sherwood Sure Shot in the back, so feeling pretty good about our chances here. I need to get like a video viewer that has more than just this skip ahead 30. Like I need this skip ahead 10. So that I have a little bit more freedom with that, but we'll just watch this one. And yeah, continuing to win, and I want to keep the tempo going strong. We pick up a Sleeping Princess on 3.0. I think that I'm potentially strong enough that I could have declined to go for that Sleeping Princess there, especially because we could have put in the donkey on the baby route like we are doing right now, but I decided to go for it anyways. I felt like this was going to give me enough strength to really mess around here. Now we could potentially try to pick up some XP spells, for instance, and we would probably win a Wish Upon a Star if we just cast that next turn. So that's kind of the plan. If you have a strong option like that on 3.0, if you see a Sleeping Princess, if you see a Vampire, if you see a Queen of Hearts, typically in the tournament realm, I'll go for it because it's just good enough. So that's why I go for the Sleeping Princess here rather than I could have also, because I was already in the lead, maybe use that as an excuse to hold off and try to find something like Feasting Dragon or something else strong on level 4 because we had already had such a strong start. Maybe that could have been better for us, but generally, if I see a good target in that opening shop on 3.0 while playing Gwen, I'm not going to turn it down. I'm just gonna fire that off and grab a 16-16 to win us a few combats from there. So hopefully that all makes sense, and that's going to carry us for a little bit here. We get a lucky off the donkey, so that's nice. Some additional bonus econ. And then I'll make another Sleeping Princess. We'll make an 11-11 here to wake up Cindy. And now on 3.2, seeing this Dragon's Nest. Oh, wait. Oh, I skipped that? Okay. That surprises me. I think I got some of my games mixed up here then. I must have played a different game yesterday where I picked up a Dragon's Nest on... Oh, yeah. Okay. After that. I just wasn't feeling the Dragon's Nest there. Normally on 3.2, I think I would pick up something like that. Maybe I just wanted to roll a few more times and try to hit the donkey and try to snowball a different way in that direction. But I don't know. I think sometimes when you are in the tournament realm playing up against some really high caliber players, the nerves get to you. I don't know if I'd necessarily stand by that decision of not picking up the Dragon's Nest there, because I do think that is a pretty good treasure to pick up going into level 4. We don't wind up seeing any dragons here, but we could have. We'll pick up a Spellweaver, and don't know what treasure I'll go for here. I suppose Power Orb does make a lot of sense, and then we'll end on this happy little tree and grab some of that XP that I was talking about not too long ago. So yeah, finally getting some of that, trying to use our good onboard lead to skip ahead a little bit. And we don't have any tier 4 characters, but these three all kind of feel like tier 4 characters. So I think that we're still pretty strong, and we take a look at my opponent's backline. It's actually set up very, very well for us that our donkeys can just smack in there and get triggers. So yeah, backline donkeys looking nice here, looking pretty smart. We are set up very well for a Court Wizard board. I do have to say that. Our whole front line is Royals. So picking up a Court Wizard and even grabbing this Merlin's Test, I think is really, really smart. And yeah, just pretty strong. I could have seen going for the Sherwood Sure Shot as well there, but I don't hate not grabbing it either and hanging on to this pair of donkeys. If I would have taken the Sherwood Sure Shot, I probably would have had to sell out of the donkey. I could have also sold the Cindy to make that happen and then just put Sherwood Sure Shot in the front row. But I didn't want to break up the donkey pair, and I didn't really want to sell off one of my Royals either. So just wound up rolling past the Sherwood Sure Shot, and hopefully this big Court Wizard can carry us. This Peter Pants is pretty high on health compared to the rest of the lobby, so they could have our number here, but I think our Court Wizard is going to be pretty strong. Yeah, our Court Wizard is able to take it down, no problem. So we get to keep that Merlin's Test, which is nice. And now we're level 5. We're 1 XP up on the rest of the lobby. So I'd like to potentially still find some more XP, become level 5, or level 6 rather, and then figure out what we're doing. There's not really Royals on level 5. There's just characters like Nyan Sea Terror, Robin Wood, the only Royal being Lancelot, which isn't really something that I want a lot. So I'll pick up a Nyan Sea Terror, potentially builds into a tier 5 treasure. I could have picked up a Cupid or something that would have given us better stats for the current board, though I don't particularly feel weak still. So I don't mind just picking up the Nyan Sea Terror, which is a little bit more speculative, right? Allows us to find a tier 5 treasure rather than really caring about the current board because we're 42 health. We're strong enough, like we've won most of our combats up until this point, and even if we lose some combats here, I think that that's totally okay because we have been so strong this whole time. So we'll see how that goes. We see that this Spectral Dragon has got an absolutely massive Darkwood Creeper, so we are going to wind up taking a little bit of damage there, but now we find some more XP. So I think it's time to say goodbye to one of these donkeys. We are going to be level 6 next turn, and I'll pick up another Court Wizard. And I also am considering the Cupid there, but am ultimately just going to triple up on these Court Wizards, really just for the treasure. The treasure gives us something, and Sky Castle's somewhat interesting, not because I want to continue to play Royals, but because it could help us triple up on Peas. And Coin of Sharon, also pretty interesting once you hit level 6. There's a few good level 6 characters that are good to throw that coin on, so I'm going to go for Coin of Sharon, and that'll give us some means to pivot. Like if we can find a good boy, that is obviously really, really strong to start giving that +4/+4 every turn. That just winds up translating into a bunch of stats. So that's the plan. 2 XP up, 35 health, feeling pretty good. We've played this mostly pretty tempo, and now we've got to try to transition into a comp, basically, is where we're at. My opponent also with a bunch of Court Wizards, pretty silly. My Court Wizard is bigger, but they've got more, but I think that my Court Wizard being bigger, we've got a second range character. Yeah, that's going to be just enough, not to kill APOC, we keep them alive, but just enough to do that. And on my 6.0 shop, I see a Doom Breath, which wasn't really a direction that I was considering going in, but an early Doom Breath, this is still 5.1, with a Coin of Sharon backing that up, is pretty strong and will allow us to grab some nice stats on that. And then we can complement that with another tempo-based tier 5 treasure. Sword of Fire and Ice or Dracula Saber, both of those are going to be pretty reasonable. And I think we're strong enough we can go for the Dracula Saber. If you already have the stats to be able to take out a few of your opponent's characters, then you grab the Saber. If you're worried that you won't be able to kill any of your opponent's characters at all, then you need to grab the Sword of Fire and Ice. But I think that like the Doom Breath can crash in, hopefully kill one thing at least, and grab a little bit of stats off the Dracula Saber. Let's see. Yeah, Doom Breath grabs 2 things. So that's going to put 2 stats on everything from the Saber, which is nice, and then we just got to battle through the rest. My opponent has a pretty nice board here and is ultimately going to hit us for 12 down to 23. We're still doing pretty good near the top of the lobby, but definitely falling off a little bit. So I want to start to pick up a few more tempo pieces now, like Medusa and Cupid, but I'm also going to greed a little bit at the same time and pick up a Hercules while I do so. If I sell 4 things, I can pick up a Cupid, so I'm just trying to figure out the best 4 things to sell, and I decide it's these ones. So I'm going to wind up picking up the Cupid for that and definitely building into a little bit more of a tempo play. I never really picked a comp, and generally when you are just playing tempo and you never pick a comp the whole game, one of the best comps to transition into is that pumpkin comp that we were talking about at the beginning of the video. So a nice little festive comp here to take a look at. See, is Doom Breath. Doom Breath's going to get 1 kill that time, which is nice, and then it'll still get that Coin of Sharon buff on itself every turn, so that's pretty cool too. And then we just wind up barely losing this one. We take 6 down to 17. Not the best, not the absolute worst though either. You can see we only had 11% to win that one, but just need to find a pumpkin, and then we just need to get lucky once or twice. So it's definitely not written off for this game, even though our opponents are definitely strong as well. Wind up throwing a True Love's Kiss on the 9C Terror that could have potentially given us some direction. It only winds up giving us a Green Knight, which really isn't going to be super fabulous for us. The one thing that it could do is it could help us activate the Hercules easier. So that is something that I'm kind of in for. And one other thing that I should point out is Medusa with the Drac Saber. Basically, the Medusa just needs to get 2 pumps from the Drac Saber, and then that will be able to activate with the or it'll be able to take out the statue. So that's something that I'm also considering here. Hercules, not quite going to get fully active because my opponent's full backline is ranged characters, but we do all right. We get a win here up against Peter Pants, hit them for 10 down to 3, and we're into the top 4. Not only are we into the top 4, but we finally get that great pumpkin. So we do need to find a few more evil characters. I consider picking up the monster book there just to round out one more evil character onto the board, though I felt like I wanted to be a little bit more greedy. I didn't want to just go for the monster book. Again, like, this is also a greedy play, picking up this for glory. I think that we're kind of strong. If we take a look at Doom Breath against my opponent's board, it seems pretty likely to just totally wipe them out. So yeah, I thought that this was a pretty huge power spike, and our fights felt close before picking up the pumpkin, so I thought that we would be considerably stronger now. Oh, and then I guess ultimately I decided not to even play the pumpkin yet because it wasn't strong enough. This B played a soul tack to protect their 2 key cards. Well played by them, just annoying, and yeah, winds up not being great for us. And let's see, this is a tricky combat. We're gonna lose, and we take 15 down to 2. All right. Now picking up the Singing Sword, I think that we are definitely in the market to play the pumpkin. I don't exactly know why I didn't play it last turn, but either way, now we can pick up these big pigs, And we've got some characters that really, really work well with this pumpkin squad. We can even sell 2 more characters, probably the non-level 6 characters, the Court Wizard and the Sleeping Princess, and play a Cupid, which will just be another evil character that we can play. So yeah, I think that this is somewhat fine for a scam board. It's tough because Horde Dragon is really, really strong in the end game, so we're going to need a lot of scam to get through everything that they're doing. But the Singing Sword, I think, is definitely going to help. We get a 2-for-1 with the dragon. And then these pigs are going to be pretty large as well, and my opponent doesn't actually have that much going on. They've got this Green Knight with the Phoenix Feather, but we can actually battle through this just with some huge front row characters all getting some additional stats, and we even steal it with Medusa, which allows us to grab a win there. So pretty nice stuff. We wind up picking up another pumpkin, and now we are up against the ghost. So at this point, I'm feeling like pretty strong across the board. We'll get to play 2 backline pumpkins. Also, I have to sneeze. Whew, got that in just under the wire there. I believe I muted that for you guys, but yeah, we are going to pick up a second pumpkin, and now we just have a full front line of scam. I think I will move around so that my back line is pumpkin, Medusa, pumpkin. That generally works out a little bit better. But yeah, I think that ultimately this is a pretty reasonable pumpkin board to have put together. Doombreath's going to be doing some nice work. Doombreath's pretty large, especially with that Singing Sword. And we don't even need my backline pumpkins in this fight up against the ghost. So pretty sweet stuff. And then from here, it's kind of hard to pass up a tier 5 treasure. So I'm going to go for that. We can toss the Coin of Sharon for this final combat. And Ambrosia is actually insane because Ambrosia upgrades our back pumpkin and then allows us to spawn upgraded cards out of that pumpkin. So pretty great stuff there. I'll go for a Jumping Beans to finish things off, and the one thing I'm slightly concerned with is my opponent has that Soul Tack, which seems like it is pretty annoying, and I gotta figure out how to battle through that. And I feel like that probably means putting a backline Cupid in, because we need our frontline cards to try to take out the Soul Tack first. I'll put in the pigs I don't really want to put in because I don't want them to take up the spawns of the pumpkin. So ultimately, this is what I'm going to run. A dragon, then a Cupid, and that backline Cupid winds up getting scammed. We do take out the Soul Tack, which is nice. That means that this Cupid will be able to take out a Bear Stain, but my opponent does have a really, really big Echo Wood. All we have to do is scam this Echo Wood, and awkwardly, this Rotten Apple Tree that we get off that first pumpkin never gets to attack. We don't get to attack into the Echo Wood here either, and then it's just about this frontline Medusa, which is way too risky there, and we wind up taking a loss. So really unfortunate one. We wind up getting second place, and that kind of inspires me a little bit for the second game. I don't know if I mentioned this yet or not, but I'm going to look at 2 games today from this cover to cover event, and for the second game, I was like, well, I think I have to play a hero that's going for first place, because this tournament is just first place or bust. There's no prizes really for second place. So I'm going to pick Horde Dragon, and we are going to do it up here. We're going to high roll, and we're going to make some magic happen. So that's what I'm going to go for game number 2 is a Horde Dragon game. And we'll see how that shakes out here. Starts off with a Cindy. That's pretty nice. And then pick up a Rainbow Unicorn, throw a Sugar and Spice on it, just to tick down the Cinderella. Right, nothing super crazy there going on. But yeah, definitely Horde Dragon has the potential to high roll. I'm going to try not to play just tempo, which Horde Dragon doesn't really even have the opportunity to play tempo. Horde Dragon's all in. And here I go for the Shard of the Ice Queen on the Rainbow Unicorn to start things off. I could have picked up the... Oh, I do pick up the Wizard's Familiar first. Okay, fair enough. That gives me a Black Cat, and then I've got 2 more gold to spend, so I'm going to pick up Mad Mim to go along with that Black Cat. And I think that this is a pretty nice start to the game as well. We are up against Headless Horseman, though, and they've got quite a strong board. Baby Dragon takes out my Mad Mim, which now means they've got a copy of Mad Mim, and they totally own us, so we take 6 from that. But not a huge deal. We are going to be able to be pretty strong this turn. We can pick up a Princess Peep, and then we can also pick up a Brave Princess. Princess Peep I just thought was really good with the Mad Mim on the current board, and then the Brave Princess, obviously, on 3.0, building towards a level 4 treasure. That's always strong. I do tend to like to keep my tier 2 characters on Horde Dragon so that I can try to find like Crystal Ball and stuff, but not going to be a huge deal in this one. Awkwardly, my opponent doesn't have enough characters that my Brave Princess is even able to slay, so that part is a little bit awkward. But on 3.1 here, excuse me, I will pick up a Good Witch and then cast a spell just to take down Cindy one more time. Then I see a pair. I also see a free spell, and I'm going to lock onto this shop. I think that this is a little bit questionable because I'm not convinced that I'm strong enough to be playing prized pigs, but I like the free spell. I like that there's a pair, and I felt like this was a good use of my resources for 3.2. So I'm going to go ahead, excuse me, been talking for a bit here. I'm going to go ahead, though, and lock on to this pair of pigs. The Earthquake does some pretty nice work for us. We can see that my opponent here also has a pair of pigs. So we'll see how many of those we are able to crack into, and it gets pretty close. But we take down one of the pigs, leave my opponent with one. That seems like a fair split to me. We'll fire off this Falling Stars, and while I do like the Merlin's Hat, like I said, try to find the Crystal Ball and the Merlin's Hat on the cheap with the Horde Dragon. I think the pickup here is just Treasure Map, and next turn, now we get to pick up a tier 6 treasure with this prized pig. So that is hopefully going to be a pretty considerable amount of tempo that can propel us forward. That's the whole idea here, is let's just pick up a really powerful tier 6 treasure, and then we can greed for some other powerful treasures down the line. One of the cool things about Horde Dragon is you don't have to worry about, I'm doing air quotes here, wasting your treasure map, because you always have runestones active. So we will waste our treasure map here, and Pandora's Box is definitely enticing to have a tier 7 treasure on 4.2, 4.1 even, but there wouldn't be that much that we can do with it. So I'm just gonna go for the safe pickup here and pick up Spear, which is also really quite good. And then, like I said, I kind of feel comfortable to take some additional risks after that fact, because we have now picked up the Spear. Now we're really strong. So now we can greed and go for this Masquerade Ball, and we find some nice toys here. We find a Lancelot. We're also probably going to slay with our Brave Princess this turn, because it's going to get +7/+7 when it attacks. And then we can find another tier 6 treasure off of Lancelot. We can use the Sporco to support the Lancelot as well. There goes the Brave Princess. And also just pick up like Lightning Dragon, which is just a good character to go alongside with the Spear, because you're getting those bonus attacks and then getting additional stats out of that treasure. So all of that seems good. Krampus's Slay while you're playing Horde Dragon feels a little bit backwards, because people are supposed to, like, we're going to have better treasures than everybody else, I think. So I don't really think we need to steal treasures. Let's try stealing some characters. We'll pick up the Gloves of Thieving. And then, like I said, I really like Lightning Dragon, Lancelot, and I also like this Sporko here. I don't have enough to afford it this turn, so I think I might just lock onto the Sporko in the shop. And just doing the math right there real quick, Lance attacks for 16, and then slays, it will go up to 18, and then Sporko could make that 22. So if you throw a Mad Mim on that, I guess, as well, then Lancelot could have activated this turn. So definitely something to consider, but I think that it is big enough and fine enough to just play it like this. So, doing quite strong right now, doing very, very good, and not going to get the prized pig gold, but we are going to get the win, staying at 25 health. All of that feels pretty good. And we also steal a Robin Hood from my opponent, which is just a really, really nice character to be able to steal. Doing the math again now, this would be Lance gets up to, well, now we don't have to do the math anymore. We're going to go for a Blaze of Glory to activate our Lancelot here. And I briefly move over the Sporko before realizing that, no, Lance needs the Sporko to activate with the Blaze of Glory, just to make sure it doesn't, like, get attacked into or something. And then we wind up looking silly because of that. And it's actually more likely to get attacked into the more Lightning Dragons that we play. And we're going to wind up playing a pair of Lightning Dragons here. But these Lightning Dragons are actually not even super likely to die because we've got the Spear. So they just get to take out these support characters in the back line and then attack again. They're really, really strong with Spear, and ultimately that gives me a pretty easy victory against the Pied Piper. So now we're going to grab a tier 6 treasure for free and Mimic Chest to double up on this Spear that's been doing such great work for us. That's just a no-brainer. And then I'm going to grab Robin Hood, and we've got the chance to pick up another tier 6 treasure. And the Arc could be cute next turn, but I don't really want to play around with the Arc games. Like, I don't even have a tier 2 character already, so I don't know. I just never play the Arc. I don't know when that is good. But I wound up picking up Wand of Weirding because I thought it would be cool to try to grab some XP. If we can find 1 XP spell, then we found 2, and that'll make us level 6, and that's a nice way to just temporarily use this treasure for some good. Actually, any spell that we cast gets triple cast because of the Mimic Chest as well. So 1 XP spell becomes 3 XP spells. Potentially a little bit of overkill there. My opponent's Soul Attack was a little bit annoying, but eventually we took it out, and then we're able to take my opponent out, even with the Soul Attack there and my Lightning Dragons attacking poorly. They get plus 14 every time they attack. It's just really, really strong. I'm very much considering the Reckless Wager right now because of just how powerful we are. We are playing up against the lobby leader, so I do want to be somewhat mindful of that, but it's definitely in the back of my mind. I want to see if I can find any XP spells first. After a few rolls, I find another Reckless Wager, so I'm going to go for this. Plus 9 gold if I win. Pretty sweet stuff. So we have got to go for that one, and how are we going to round out this turn? Could pick up another Robin Hood. I think that this is fine. Sell off the Amy. Our Lightning Dragons have been stealing a bunch of Robin Hoods for us, which is funny. And up against this pup, maybe we'll steal like another Sporko or something else. But these Lightning Dragons are really, really good up against pup. Looks like they're running a bunch of Lightning Dragons too. But despite their Lightning Dragons being bigger, at the start, our lightning dragons are eventually going to be bigger when they get that double spear on them, and then we are going to be absolutely massive, grabbing this triple reckless wager this turn. So +9 gold, I'll triple my lightning dragons, and then we don't really have any XP here, but we can use this masquerade ball to pick up some tier 6 characters this turn regardless. A triple mask ball gives us 3 tier 6 characters in the shop, and Boomhilda plus Hercules will give us a tier 7 treasure. So that definitely looks strong to me. And then I'm also just going to wind up picking up a Jormungand just because it's a strong character. I don't think that it is necessarily super relevant to the build. We just tossed the Horn of Olympus in favor of just 2 gold, and we only have Lancelot as our only Slay character. I'm not really looking to play Slay, I'm just looking to play a 20/20 for right now. So that's the whole idea. Fortunately, my opponent has a Robin Hood, so that's going to shrink my Herc slightly, but it gets to grab a whole bunch more stats in a second thanks to that Mimic Chest Spear. So we are not quite going to get the Hercules activation this turn, but we're really, really close. And actually, this Trophy Hunter is kind of huge. They're able to make a whole bunch of extra things with Wombats and hit us for a little bit of damage. But now we're level 6, and I'm feeling quite good about where we're at. This shop has a number of really interesting things for us. It's got a good boy, but then it also has an evil twin. An evil twin gets to get cast 3 times, so that is really spectacular. So basically what I'm hoping to do right now is replace the spear with something from Hercules, a cool tier 7 treasure, and then evil twin this good boy. That'll give us another tier 7 treasure next turn, and I'm thinking one of those can probably be World Tree. That way it doesn't matter that I just made an evil good boy and I'm gonna have a bunch of bad good boys, so we'll be able to grab a World Tree, or we could grab a Mirror that also works with the Bear Stain and the evil good boys. We could definitely make something work with that. So feeling pretty good as long as we don't die this turn, and that's just going to come down to what's in the pumpkin and this Siren's ability to steal my best units here. This Siren is actually really, really scary, but it doesn't look like I'm going to die this turn. Even if I don't quite kill this Siren, it is going to be a loss though. So I take 8 down to 8, but now I get to grab some tier 7 treasures, and Black Prism is going to be pretty crazy for us. This is a Mimic Chest plus Wanded Black Prism. So basically, I've got to sell off a bunch of things on my board right now so that when I cast this evil twin, I don't just have super overflow here, and I actually get to use some of these treasures. This is going to give me the World Tree. I knew I was replacing the Black Prism. I get to pick up a Good Boy triple, and I briefly consider Holy Grail before realizing Mirror is also an option. And then I get to grab this Lancelot, and I'm gonna pick up this Bear Stain. And yeah, this just looks absolutely great for us here. We've got all these Herculeses too, about to potentially grab some more treasures for us. I don't even know that we need them. Good Boy gets to summon back, and yeah, we're gonna have some Herculeses connect. But the important thing is that the Lancelot on our back line also activated, and that could potentially give us 9th Book of Merlin and give us the Exodia comp. So we are looking really, really good right now, really strong. We make some statues off of Mirror Mimic Chest, which is really funny. And now we get to grab a tier 6 treasure, and we grab the 9th Book of Merlin. And this is Exodia comp. I do think about it for a second though, and honestly, there was just so much going on there that I just defaulted into this Exodia comp that I've played before. But I think I should have gone World Tree, 9th Book of Merlin, Mirror. I think if I had done that, that would have been slightly stronger. This is still pretty strong, but right now I only have the Good Boy and the Bear Stain going for me in terms of ways that this 9th book is, or ways that this World Tree is relevant. pick up wombats in disguise, hoping to add some more summons to the board. What I really need right now is a pumpkin. And if I can find a pumpkin, I think that we can make a lot happen here, because pumpkin will just give us a whole bunch more summons and a whole bunch more spell casts. So we can still definitely salvage this, but a little bit of a mistake, I believe, to have held on to the mimic chest and tossed the mirror. So that part is a little bit awkward. I wind up going for one more copy of Good Boy. 8 gold to grab an additional Good Boy, I don't think is a terrible rate. However, this is more like, this board would have been better if I had a mirror, and I think to like some extent I was a little bit confused while playing that I didn't have a mirror, especially as I pick up another Empress P here. Yeah, this board's just a lot better with a mirror, and I think I just got like distracted. I thought I could have 4 treasures here, which I do. I've got 2 World Trees and 2 Ninth Book of Merlins, but I don't have that mirror anymore. So yeah, that's gonna cost us a bunch of stats. My opponent with a doubled up Pigomorph takes up Boomhilda and my upgraded Good Boy, which is basically all of my everything. So a really awkward just group of hits there from my opponent, and that's gonna kill me, unfortunately. I put together this really sweet Exodia comp, but wasn't enough, wasn't able to find a pumpkin, and kind of messed up my own treasure selection there. So an awkward end to it. You can see I still actually had 64% chance to win this combat, but my opponent's Pigos just hit really well on the Good Boy and the Boomhilda, and we weren't able to find the scams that we needed to find. So a little bit unlucky for sure to say that we were only 1-4 to actually grab a loss there, but that's Storybook Brawl. Sometimes you get tricked. And that is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.